All right, we are live. I figured we would enjoy a little bit of coffee, some water, and I could show you what I call the Ableton master template. Years in the making. This has been developed over a number of years, and a lot of hours have been put into this to make it really versatile and really simple to use. Let's do this. This here is the Ableton master template. When you install it, you could load it all just like so. All right, so yeah, we've got different categories in it. It goes really, really deep. Let's see here. This has most, this has most of the stuff in there, but it's already installed and ready to go. But there's also, see, the template is a collection of all kinds of tools. So you just have so many different options, samples, drum loops, all these different collections of drum loops. We got Everloop, which is a whole nother collection of different sounds and loops and things like that to get you kick-started. Filters and risers, effects, in key, which I don't have installed in here, but yeah, you can drag that in. You can see what that's all about later. Leads, synth, bass sounds, pads, reverse sounds, stabs, stutter synths, synths, waveform. This is a different synth that it doesn't automatically come loaded. I try to give you all the main stuff to keep stuff simple here. But let's just dive in. So first thing up top is we just have a sidechain channel. And this is just like a quarter note sidechain, and it just has a hi-hat going on. Because sidechain actually is better if it's reacting to something shorter. That way you have more control over the sidechain. So I just see parts here. Every main track has a sidechain option. So you just turn this on and it will automatically sidechain the part that's already ready to go. And then you've got basic, low cut, high cut, reducing the mud by how much, bright boost, bright frequency, mud EQ, or mud Q rather, which is usually somewhere in this range. And then you've got some effects and everything. I've got basic effects set up here, delays, reverbs, panning, saturation, compression, glue compressor. All things that you may or may not want on your track is ready to go. You can just double click it and turn it on. That makes it really, really quick. So yeah, let's get into some of the stuff. The kick machine is a really massive tool. I mean, I sell this separate as well. And what it is it's layers and layers of kicks and samples that you can create just a wild amount of different sounds. So by default, I can just kind of play this here, what we've got, if you'll see, transient sound, low, high, full, kick, and then kick rack. So if I play this, let's turn off that. And if I play this, we'll hear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sounds making this one kick. Cool. We'll get into the bass in just a second. That's pretty cool, but we're gonna we'll turn that off for right now. And if you're not wearing headphones, you might want to hear. But basically what we've got here with the kick machine is each one of these, we can select a different sound and we can choose the volume level of each sound. So if we start here, just solo the kick rack. Here, click on here and we can actually dial in the kick and frequency. Longer one, shorter, sustain release, pitch envelope, top volume, a little more snap, and then we can choose the snap frequency. And then if we want, we can add some drive. If we add some decay, you can kind of really hear that come together. I mean, any headphones will give you something. I'm not going to tell you what kind of studio headphones. I like these Sony 7506s. They're inexpensive, and they've got really good frequency response for around $100. So yeah, hopefully you guys can hear. So this is just the kick rack portion, right? Let's get back into this. And then I can get into the transient. So that's that snap there, and I can choose between all kinds of different transient layers. Right? And then when I find it, I can actually set the volume that I want here or here. Just to give a little more snap. With the rack, I'm going to back off the decay. Cool. And then let's go to the low frequency. It's a nice thumpy one. Cool. And then high. And if we want to listen to it by itself, we just solo it, right? And then once again, we can set the level. And then we have like a full kick. And by the way, you don't need to use all of these layers. If you're happy with one layer or two layers, you're good. Let's get some dirt in there and then we'll turn it down quite a bit. Maybe something different. So cool. So that is the kick machine. That's just the first tool available to making. Do you record any of the sounds you use in your tracks? And if so, what do you recommend using for this? Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can record sounds in, you can capture sounds, you can use samples. If you're asking like what kind of a interface to use, a sound card, yeah, you don't want to record with the internal sound card on your laptop or computer. I would recommend, getting something that has at least stereo in and stereo out. So that's 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and you can record one instrument at a time. If you want more capability, or you want to set up a studio where you've got equipment that's already to go to record in with a bunch of separate things, you got 2 choices. You can get a mixer to run each of the sounds into your stereo sound card, or you can get a sound card that has more inputs and just send them directly into it. As far as what you're recording, synths or guitars or bass or anything like that, you can do all that. I'm not sure exactly what the question was, but yeah, that's that. Okay, so so there's the kick machine, and then we can get just directly more into sample selection here. So I've got another kick that, let me just, here we go. So yeah, once again, we got 128 great kicks here. Yeah, these samples are not messing around. And then obviously you can pitch whatever you want, add drive. You can reduce the decay and sustain. So yeah, loads of control that you've got here. And yeah, you could just simply come in here and if you want, just turn this on and you could select which kick you want. Just and so forth. And then when you find it, you can pop it in. And once again, you could actually layer these sounds as well. You just kind of less control than the kick machine. But yeah, great samples there. Claps, same sort of thing. If I drag this over. Really, really great sounds. Snare. And then we have, those are, your basic, making your basic beat with kick, snare, clap sort of stuff. And then we get into the rest of the drum groups here. And this, the reason that we have this separated is so that we could turn on sidechain here. And we could sidechain all these other parts if we want to, or we could do it individually. So we've got 2 different hi-hats. They're both the same thing, but a lot of times you want a couple different hi-hat sounds. So you might layer those together. And if I just drag this over. So forth. Toms, got loads of different tom drums. And yeah. So yeah, loads of different tom kits, so that not just individual sounds, but you have the pitched version of several different types of toms. So plenty of that. Got percussion. And remember, each of these you can fine tune here with pitch and attack and adding saturator, compressing it, whatever you want to do. Very, very simple to do. Shakers. Then we got Foley. So the goal here is that you can really, really quickly dial in your sounds and make your drum beat and bass line really, really quick, and then start working towards what the song's going to be all about, right? All kinds of weird Foley sounds, really fun stuff there. Got texture sounds. Loads and loads of stuff there. Crash samples. Everyone needs good crashes. So here we go. That hurts the ears a little bit. Let me turn that down. Yeah, you're not going to be hunting down for too many sounds. You're going to be in good shape. And then here, what's really cool about this, you could drag it in. I don't have it loaded necessarily. It does take up some CPU to load it up and stuff. So If your computer isn't super fast, there's also a light version that will load all of this, and then you would just come in here and load your part. And then we got just several tracks here for you to drag in loops and things like that. So we got 3 different audio tracks for dragging in loops, or you could obviously drag in your own loops as well. So like here. Cowbells, hi-hats. Loads of cool stuff there. We got percussion, rides, shakers, sticks, tambourines, and then we also have Everloop. So we've got loads of bass sounds and samples that you can cut up. Loads of different ways that you can layer sounds, just tons of that. We got drones. And all of these are timed so that when you put together a beat, they're already placed in interesting places for you to build a beat really, really quick. But obviously you can change that around. As you can see, just in these loops, we've got 94 different drones. Right? We've got, once again, more hi-hats, kicks. So yeah, so you're not going to run out of much. We got some melodic stuff here. And of course, you could pitch it and rearrange and do all kinds of different stuff. There you go on the loops. So yeah, that's what I would go to if I was just using the internal stuff. And then you could drag in and cut things up here. So those are the drums. Then we have the bass section. And hopefully the dog's not driving you crazy. Kind of an acid line maker here. That's just for versions 11 and up. I added this. You have to download the Sting. It's a free thing. Once you download the whole template, you can get that. Yeah, we've got kind of an acid line maker that I developed. Over here, as you can see, these are all different bass layers. Just like with the kick drum where there were lots of layers, we've got this as well. So we'll just play with some of these. I made some variations. And if you do some automation and stuff like that, you can get some really crazy cool results. So yeah, that was just added, but I'm going to turn this off and just kind of show you some of the other bass sounds, what have you. So we've got subs. I have a whole different subsection here as well, because a lot of times I like to do my subs separate than my bass part, and then I'll kind of roll off some of the bass sounds over here. But let's just start with, for example, bass sound here. We could turn this on. And then it's just about selecting. So give me just a second here. As we select, that'll turn things on. Just loads and loads of different bass sounds. And once again, you can layer different sounds. So the first two are the same sounds, but you can come in and with that sound, you could layer with another bass sound. So it just gives you a lot more variety. And you could even add a third bass sound if you want. And all these are different ones, so I'll solo this real quick. Like that's got a nice bite to it. Let's see what that sounds like all together. And then you could obviously adjust the volume of each of these sounds. On top of that, you've got the transient tracks here, so you could pick between different sorts of transients. And then once again, you can adjust the volume for each layer. So you can do a whole lot with the bass machine. So you can get pretty much any sound that you want. And then we've got the wobbler bass. This is really good with automation and stuff like that, but really very like vocal sort of sounding synth. And this one is real dirty. Bit crush action. Lots of fun to play with. Once again, I like to use LFOs and automate some of these things, and you just get some really wild results. Then we got the sub, and the sub is, let's see, where, oh, here, the sub chain. Here we go. And I've just got loads of different really great sounding subs. Once again, we go to the sub selector, and let me just, you need headphones for some of this stuff. Really, really super bassy. And honestly, with sub, you only need a few subs ever. You know, you're probably going to use like 3 subs in your whole career and be totally fine with it if you find like a certain tone you're looking for. So this gives a lot of, 24 different subs. And obviously we can filter and low pass. And so some are punchy, some are a little bit slower. It just depends on the type of sound you're going for. And yeah, that's the sub. These are subs that I've used in pretty much all my tracks. So I'm not hiding anything from you. These are all the secret weapons that I use, ready to go. And then we've got pads. I guess we don't need to solo that, but Once again, a chain selector to select which pad sound we want. And these are meticulously sampled, like really, really solid stuff there. And then also we've got operator pads here. So this is just, and you can control the attack. A little bit more brassy sounding. Obviously, you can control the reverb and pitch LFO, all kinds of different stuff. Really fun. And then we've got leads here. So we got a bunch of sampled leads here. And this is before you add any effects or whatever, so you could do all kinds of things as well. More leads. Then we've got atmospheric sounds. We've got stabs. And the stabs run through, I've got loads of different stab effect chains. So this might be kind of fun to use the all right, and then we can choose the different types of chains. And then we could turn on our effect chains. Yeah, and those are stabs. Then we've got tracks for vocals. Obviously, you record your vocals in here. Got some basic effects and stuff. Filter sweeps. Filter rack, you can never have too much of that. The noise, we've got white noise. Oops. Pink noise, and brown noise. But yeah, 3 types of noises that you can ramp or do whatever sort of stuff. Those are all useful, so I just put them right into the rack, but it's turned off so it doesn't distract you. And then reverse effects. We've got these effects, and then I think over here I've got some reverse sounds here. And so forth. Then a bunch of tracks for sample chops. And then utilities. I got a reverb tester here. Basically, you're able to run noise into the reverb, and it gives you a much better idea of the effect that the reverb is actually having before you apply it to stuff. So, right? So that way you can really hear like what reflect is doing. Diffuse, the amount of decay, and so forth. So once you have that dialed in, you can drag a reverb to an effector or anything, to an instrument, and kind of nail that sound. I don't use this a lot, but anytime I'm having trouble trying to get the right reverb, this is a really great way to use it. So I added that as well. So that is the master template in depth. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't share is that there's also all of these different return tracks. So I'll just share that with you real quick. So if I have, I'll just take this side sheet because it's just a hi-hat anyway, right? I could show you what each of these does. The dub I'm not going to go into, but it's really, really cool. 3/16, quarter note, which you can't hear because it's playing at the same time of these, so it's more transparent. Short reverb. Medium reverb. And long reverb. And then I have saturation. Add some dirt to it. Parallel compression. Probably not great on just a hi-hat. And then I have head candy, which what I would do is just kind of turn it up short. And then it just makes this really cool sound all around your head. Really good for just creating some movement and sounds and things like that. Really, really fun. So there you go. That is it. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'm going to get out of here.